Hello, friends. Welcome back. And Kangas Cubby, welcome back. We still have one more series on the day. Oh, and I think at this point, too, the sun will still be up for us to all go enjoy the summer weather. That was a really quick game, too.
This is my first time actually on the on this stream with only 2 best of 2s, so I'm trying to think what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. Now, yeah, I mean, Supernova giving us a fast one.
Gym?
Watching the other games going on?
In the gym while gymming?
Yes,
that's
to all the
cardio
above.
is great.
I think these are all good ideas.
That's what I'm doing afterwards. You know, throw the game on my phone, get my 9 miles in.
Yeah.
You run over here and then get a lift at the Kangas gym, Cubby.
That's a long run. That's like a 15-mile run.
That'll still have to wait till after the broadcast. Before we get too carried away with gym plans, cannot relate. I'm gonna go lounge in the backyard. We still do have a series here, and it's gonna be Maryville University going up against the Skies. Let's talk about this Maryville team first going into this, Kangas.
Yeah, Maryville, obviously the collegiate representatives in Challengers League. Happy to have them here. Happy to see some very impressive performances from key members of this roster. I know that Odd Orange has been pretty public in saying, look, he's just here, for the collegiate championship, which they did make finals in, and then pushing some other players along. Still very impressed with them. So I want to give a shout out to Nathan Ryan. He's been having a really good summer split so far. Happy to see him in form.
Honestly, I mean, I talked to him before the games, and he said that he's really excited to compete in this as the one collegiate team. Shows that Maryville is a program that can compete with the best teams there are in League of Legends, not just in collegiate. And hey, he's going to have his hands full today going up against, I think it's safe to say, the most popular team in the league, maybe, in Disguised.
All right, so let's frame it this way, though, real quick. Who do we think actually wins out on the art? Is it Disguised here? Because, I mean, these are very impressive drawings that I believe Disguised drew himself. Or is it the Engage that I was able to manage from the Grog's Explosive Cask? I'm just saying.
I feel like they should hire you for backup graphics, you know? Ooh. I feel like that's the win-win. I feel like
that could be good.
Intern
there's something there.
Yeah.
We already made a video with Fake God, so let's talk toast.
Yeah, there you go. You can just... You're good there. But we didn't really get to talk about it too much with the Disguised roster. But I want to go in a little bit deeper about this roster, specifically about some of the core players that are coming back. Because what's interesting about this Disguised roster is that there is a core part of this team that was a part of the very successful Cloud9 Challengers back in spring.
Which makes it a little more surprising with where they are in the standings right now. Because, Cubby, I mean, we've been talking about this a lot behind the scenes. We've even talked about it on broadcast as well. Expectations for this roster. You see it. I mean, the photos are different, obviously.
A little.
But 3 of the players are returning here from the championship roster. Heavy expectations for them coming into the split. There have been standout performers, but they just don't have the number of wins that we were kind of hoping they would at this point coming into the last week of the first round robin.
Yeah, it's been a lot of series splits for Disguised, and also that surprising 0-2 to Wildcard, I must say, where I think Wildcard, they drafted very much for the later stages of the game. Disguised were not able to snowball hard enough, and they got punished. So I think Disguised... I usually favor teams later in the season that do really try and play heavy early game early on, because I feel like you are forced to make plays, and therefore you will get better and better throughout the season. So I like that Disguised, they're really trying to force things early and make plays, and it's not like they haven't been getting leads, it's just that they haven't been getting big enough leads to turn those into wins.
Fake Out in particular has been getting a lot of leads. Like, this guy in the top lane is kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's leading the league in gold diff at 15, and honestly, Fake Out for me has been the best player in his position for this entire season, or I should say, out of like all top laners, I guess. I don't know why I said the whole season. He's been damn good. That's what I'm trying to say.
He's pretty good. But we've talked a lot about the players that are returning from that core roster, even if it's a different team. Let's talk about the players that have changed out a little bit, and specifically for this one, let's focus a little bit of Young coming into this team.
Yeah, so for me, Young's someone that I feel like Young's team fighting has been really sound, but we have seen Young, some lanes where he's not on the dominant pick, has fallen, and I think that is the difference. You know, we talk so much about C9C, how they had lost Diplex and Fake God. All 3 of those players were just winning lanes. Even Zazel was talking about it in his interview, how he has to do a little bit more heavy lifting with Meech, who is a less experienced player than the likes of Lost. And I feel like Young is someone where he's really tried to make plays. Some of them have gone well, and then some of them have not. As this one, unfortunately, not getting caught by that scatter, it's probably not the time where we want to go for the play on Nico. So I think we've seen some good moments from Young. I love the fact that he is still looking to play aggressive. I'm just looking for Young as he keeps on evolving in his second split playing at this level to get some more consistency under his belt. As it really feels like Young, off the melees, hasn't been as impressive as he was on the melee pick, so we know he's good at when it comes to that spring meta.
And if we're going to be highlighting mid laners here, then let's talk a little bit about Get Back going into this. As build this up, gotta say, we need some more Maryville hype in the chat. Disguise is taking it over here. But this is the chance, Kangas, to talk some good things about Maryville.
Yeah, I mean, Get Back in the mid lane. I know that we were leading it to talk good things. That one was a rough one, but
yeah, that was bad timing.
This was the point that you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, so Get Back, he got a slow start to this season. Maryville went 1-5 this first week, but he has really started to pick it up in the back half. This was what got them their first win, and I love how Get Back, again, another mid laner that really plays on the edge, as he's just finding ways to weave in and out of this fight at 1 HP. This is when Get Back is really at his best, and I want to continue to see more consistent performances out of him as well, as I think that's what's really going to keep on pushing Maryville over the edge. And got to keep in mind, Maryville, I know I kind of want to put a little bit of an asterisk maybe around that, 4-2 week, given that AoE did have some internet issues for Maryville to get that 2-0. However, they were sitting at 5-7 in the standings and had a much better week 2. Orange said that they're actually practicing more in Challengers because they're able to play 5 blocks against NACL teams, which has really helped them. And I want to see Get Back and Maryville continue to step up and evolve, because this is a team that we've always credited for playing well as a team of 5, but I'm hoping that the better practice gets these collegiate members to continue to level up their play.
We'll see if that practice has been enough for them heading into today's matches, as our match is ready, and that means our draft is ready. So I will see you two on the other side.
Thank you, Sierra. As we are getting ready for game number 1, I want to set the stage a little bit more here. And we talked about Maryville. Yes, they've been punching maybe above their weight class based on expectations coming in. This guy is arguably punching lower. This is the end of the first round robin, and theoretically the easiest week for Disguise. This is the beginning of what we're calling kind of their easy week. They're only playing teams lower than them in the standings or tied with them in the standings, with Maryville, and then they have Fear tomorrow. That one could be pretty tough. And then they close out with Supernova, which also based on their most recent performance is not necessarily just an auto win for Disguise either way. So maybe an asterisk on the easy week as well for Disguised. But either way, there is still hope that this team's able to turn things around and pick up some more wins on the board.
We are on the new patch, so I am really curious to see how each of these teams read the patches. Again, talking with a lot of the teams at the LCS level and the Challengers level, every team feels like there are so many OPs on the board. You just have to take away the ones you don't play and agree on the handshakes that you are going to take, because so many champs are just very strong at the moment. Which honestly has led to a lot of diversity and different reads, so I think it's kind of fun while things are really trying to be figured out for this new patch. But curious to see where things land, as at the moment, Maryville putting a big focus on Fake God, who again, we have really praised for being an impressive top laner, as they've taken away the Jax and the Cassante from Fake God, 2 champs where he has been outstanding this split.
Not the Renekton, which would be the other big one that Fake God's been piloting a lot of. Niles' champ pool, though, maybe he is confident to take something like the Pantheon into it instead, if this guy's actually want to lock that in.
Got the Gnar, too, which is pretty good in the Renekton. So some options for Niles. So I think Maryville, I like that read for them. And Niles has been a stronger point for them in the top side as well. And a big part of that 4-2 week last week, as again, Maryville getting wins off of teams like Wildcard. I know Orange said that he expects Wildcard to be pretty high up in the standings as well. That was definitely a feel-good moment as Niles covering the Quinn, maybe baiting the Renekton, hey, I got more picks than just Gnar and Pantheon if you decide to lock this in.
Shout out to Rich, who did actually play that in LCS this last week. Pretty cool. Okay, and Fake God's hovering the Renekton as well. I think we're getting a little bit of mind games between the top laners here, but it is Get Back's LeBlanc locked in with Ari and Nico taken off the table. MUR prioritizing, putting Get Back on something that he is still comfortable on and has had some pretty good performances on so far.
Being a comfort, it is the Vi for Tomio, and also a bit of a deny from Orange, as the Vi has been very high priority for the side of Maryville as well. So we'll see. The response of Orange will be that Sejuani. He has played that Volibear in the past into the Vi, but that Sejuani makes a whole lot more sense now that we are pairing it with the Renekton. And personally, I would love to see Ryze return. He saw some big buffs on the last patch. I feel like he's kind of been forgotten about. Ooh. And we are going to have our first Rise of Challengers coming out from Young, as that's going to be locked on in.
Okay, let's see if Young's been putting the practice in. For some reason, did Young play this at all in spring? I feel like there might have been a game or two, or maybe even going back into... No, he wasn't with us back in the summer.
Hold on.
Wow, so when's the last time we even saw this then?
Let me get to the Rise changes. It's been a little bit. I do think that Rise... Rise is someone where I feel like he's actually been underplayed. I think that Rise can be an answer right now to the side of the Blanc, as Rise can match the push and also scales really nicely. What ended up happening is that they bumped his scaling. So the max mana increase used to get bonus mana per 100 AP that went from 6% to 10. And also they buffed up the damage on the spell flux and the scaling from that and the missile speed. So that means that the EQs, there used to be some scenarios where you could throw an EQ and the Q would hit with the missile speed changes. The E should be able to hit and bounce before the Q should land with that change. So that's just kind of a nice quality of life change for the Rise. So again, I really expect this to be good for the side of the Skies. It gives them the ability to answer the Blanc in the side lanes, and also Rise into Renekton. That's a pretty good matchup for Rise later, as that Rune Prison can just lock Renekton in place and enable Rise to sneak away, especially if he takes Phase Rush.
Rise can side lane pretty easily against a Renekton if you need to put somebody into him later on. And you do have two side laners, though, because they have the LeBlanc as well. But this is what I was expecting. Counter pick for Fake God. The Renekton was presumably going to the top lane, pretty much known, but now they want to prioritize the bottom lane for Meech. Kai'Sa with a Vi, with the Rakan. That's a lot of engage. No way it's top lane.
What are the chances that it's top lane and Kai'Sa mid? Because we have seen some Kai'Sa mid in response to LB, and they could still take a Tristana and like double flex. I don't know. I'm getting way too in my own head, honestly.
I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. This would make the pick ban so much more exciting. I'm pretty sure that you just got me and everybody in Twitch chat a little baited and very excited for what could happen here with this guys, and before they just lock in like an Ornn or something.
We'll see. I mean, I think Ornn's actually the answer into Renekton right now. But Renekton Sejuani does throw a nice wrinkle into the top laners, where Maryville very much showing that Niles Odd Orange likely to be playing up towards there and continuing to take priority in the Nautilus. So they'll be able to fish off the dredge lines now as well. And Disguised have to find a way to deal with that. I do like Nautilus and Rakan quite a bit. If Psycho is on his game, you can cancel those grand entrances, which is always pretty nice. And now I expect this to be Fake God's pick. I don't think we're going to see anything crazy like the Kai'Sa mid. Rise into Renekton was an old matchup, though. That used to be pretty good. And yeah, Disguise maybe taking a page out of the book of Wildcard, where they did get 2-0'd by Wildcard last week, and taking that Malphite that was so good into Disguise that Samito played. So it's going to be the Rock Monster for Fake God on the top side.
Even if you lose early to the Renekton, if you get the push, which what happened with Fake God in the matchup, it doesn't matter. You're still able to come back. And even then, that's usually an outlier how much Fake God was stomping that on the Renekton last time around.
Yep. I really like the Malphite here. Aphelios has damage. That's about it. Like, especially if the Blanc goes for the Shiv build, you do not do damage to Malphite. Yeah. So it will be a pretty invincible rock monster that's going to be coming at you in the fight. So we'll see if Scary Jerry is up to the challenge when it comes to flashing away from those ultimates, and if Disguise can follow up on it. As I like this draft for Disguise. I think that I'm a little bit concerned for Meech getting out of bot lane, and I want to see if Meech is able to perform against Scary Jerry, because Aphelios should be beating Kai'Sa in that laning phase. So see if Scary Jerry and Zyko can use some of the priority they have in draft to make sure that Meech is set behind. I think that's what Maryville needs to do early if they want to have a chance in this game.
Well, we'll be keeping our eyes on Meech, how you transition from laning phase into the team fights, because there's a lot of tools to set up a Kai'Sa. The Malphite getting on top of Scary Jerry would mean that you're pretty much guaranteed dead. You have the vibe point and click as well, and then a Kai'Sa flying in on top. A lot of damage piled into a lot of CC. Can Scary Jerry handle it, and can the rest of the team keep him alive and do their own counter engages? As we're on to the Rift and early starts, no invades, just some play for vision. But as I say that, we actually could get a potential invade. Zyko's looped up with Odd Orange.
Good word there.
Just hovering.
Odd Orange able to sneak that one down. Niles might be beating Sierra to the backyard as he's got Outback Renekton in the top lane going up against Fake God. And I think game plan this game, curious to see where Sejuani goes. Sejuani does have options early. Looks like it's going to be a top to bot start. So even with that Renekton top side, still emphasis on making sure that Scary Jerry is able to push up and be ahead early in this lane. I think a lot of this game will come down to Scary Jerry in the bot lane, as Aphelios is a big part of the damage. for MU. They don't have a lot of damage elsewhere. It needs to snowball and get ahead, and also a potential to bully in the bot lane into Kai'Sa, as you have pretty good range advantage and the ability to make plays on Kai'Sa given the guns.
I'm liking the Rise even more now as a side lane answer, because I'm starting to agree that Scary Jerry really is the damage. The other win condition for MU could be a more split map focus, try and get things done in a side lane, but you have to worry about a Rise. So even if Get Back or Niles gets ahead, ideally you want it to be Get Back, I suppose, because then you're hopefully putting Young behind, because if it's only Niles ahead, then Young can still probably hold that Renekton at bay and then let the rest of the team kind of loop up and make big plays happen. Well, the catch up in the junglers right now, it's been focused on the top clear as Zyko actually roots up Zeyzal during the W animation and cancels it. Interesting.
Yeah, well done. That's what you can do. As it's a bit of a game on the recon, like if you're able to catch that engage or not. So the fact that Zyko able to do it well first time around again would be a priority for this lane. And Meech actually was forced off of looks like some XP there. So Meech hitting level 2 a little bit later than Zeyzal. That could be a problem later.
Let's see how hard they want to focus down here. With the Nautilus, if you have backup from your jungler, there is always the potential of a dive, but still a little early. Tomio's also passed towards the bot side, as Niles will actually proxy a wave here. So far, Fake God's doing a good job of catching this, but is down 9 CS as this next wave will crash. If he gets all of this, only going to be a 3 CS
he'll get all that.
differential.
That's fine. You can have Niles base and just pick up a Cole here, which is okay for the lane.
Oh.
Okay. Actually, just gonna go longsword boots.
You got him.
It's all right. And the fact that Niles is able to proxy just means he misses less. So Fake God, it will be tough to get that lane all the way out, but will be the task at hand. And honestly, okay start here. I will say for Disguised, I know that each of their side lanes are down a little bit, but you're going to take being down 3 CS as Malphite out of those first few waves, and Meech being down this much, as long as it doesn't snowball in the more, it should be fine.
Ooh, early ink mid onto Young. Oh, I like the predict from Orange. Get Back wants this. Commits flash for first blood. 2 flashes committed to guarantee they get the kill onto Young.
Let's go Get Back. This is the aggression that we want to see out of Get Back, as he is a player that we think pretty highly of when he is able to step up and make plays, and love to see Orange have a very productive visit mid, as Orange continues to be a jungler where, we think that jungle is the strongest pool, top to bottom in North America when you look at jungle at all levels. Orange, we've seen Orange play quite a bit throughout the years. Seeing him step up in this league with Maryville has been really nice, as I think Orange has really had a fantastic split so far, and continuing it there as a good play mid, gets Maryville first blood in the lead.
Also, great interviewer. Love having content with him. Hey, Orange, you want to reconsider maybe going pro, trying to make it back to LCS? It'd be fun to have you, man. Just saying. Fake God takes a rough trade there. Let's get another look here at this initial gank. It was on Vision, so they know Orange is here.
Young's just trying to get this wave in so he can get out, but steps to the left of a minion, which makes him vulnerable to a chain. And Get Back just able to get the calculation down. As I mean, props to Young. He got all the damage he could off that EQ nearly enough to make sure that Get Back falls, but not the case. Get Back gets the kill. That is a good start here for Maryville. Is talked about their draft that they needed to get some leads early, especially set the Kai'Sa behind, and so far, props to Maryville. They've been doing a pretty decent job of that, as they have first blood mid, CS leads in each of their side lanes, and I will start to see if they can turn it into neutral objectives, which they need to stack up early.
The one prop for Young is that he's not too far behind in CS right now, so at least not going to be too decelerated to his first item, but Get Back is accelerated to that first item. We already talk about how much LeBlanc wants to get on the map and roam around. Well, Static Shiv is built for that for this champion. You can shove these waves so fast, and having first blood means that you're going to get to that window even earlier than otherwise. So now the rest of DSG need to be aware of that. Be prepared for as soon as that item is completed.
Niles proxying another wave, as Fake God only down 5 CS, but Niles just first everything. He knows that junglers are pathing top to bot, so Niles is very safe to do this. And so far, he has gotten the TP advantage out of Malphite, and will get item advantage now with this base. So burns his TP back. Gonna be important for Niles to bully Renekton on this, I should say this item portion where he's at. I'm trying to say, Kank, is that Rift Herald is important for Maryville, and he's got to have a good laning phase for the next 90 seconds. They want to set up Maryville to get that Rift.
Boom, I love it. The breakdown as Iron Spike Whip has been picked up by Niles, but Orange is already on the Dragon. So yes, you have the power top side. The Herald is the future play. They're on the current play, which is shove bot wave and pick up their first objective of the map.
And I might have to start taking some lessons from Emily Rand. Made her first cast and had some big words she was able to use.
Mega takes a rough trade there. Already, Niles trying to push this item lead he has, but Tomio's nearby.
It's only 5.
Ultimate's still available for Fake God. I mean, Niles is going to lose his dominance. Okay, they don't want to go for it. I thought maybe if they try and just chain their CC Vault Breaker into the Unstoppable Force, they could do it, but not going to be the play.
There was nothing for Niles to do there. And honestly, Fake God, I don't love that trade from Niles because Fake God could base now and actually come out with better items. Niles will continue to push and pressure, but Fake God's getting all the resources as good hook.
Leaving that between minions. Pretty hard to do as Nautilus, actually. A lot of people like to complain at how wide the hitbox is, but when you want it to go through stuff, nicely done from Zyko. As now we get the reset from Fake God, so it's a little delayed. He waited for one more wave, but will get back onto the Rift. Let's see what he purchases. Oh no, he cancels it. Ooh, that's rough. I saw the minimap.
It's fine.
Stepped.
Like, he just keeps on channeling it in case Niles doesn't fully hit the wave. But once Niles hits the wave, then he's going to stick around. He knows that he's safe under that tower. And as long as Sejuani's not up there, and Sejuani was just spotted, he knows it's fine. But because he has not been able to base this entire time, this was the priority that Maryville took in draft. So Renekton just needing to keep on bullying and playing up will enable Sejuani to pick up this Rift Herald for themselves. You can see this guy's making the smart move, just saying, hey, we can't fight the Renekton this early. We're going to let Malphite continue to get items and scale. We'd be at a big disadvantage if we decided to take this. So I like this from this guy, just getting something elsewhere, as I think each team playing this out all right.
And Disguise even had Young posture towards the bottom. Maybe looking at a dive. Get back, knows that Young's still mid. Tomio's just taking away jungle camps while Odd Orange was on the Herald. That goes for a good trade there onto Young. So Tomio, end of the play. It is the Herald traded for red buff and Raptors. Tomio trying to get himself a little bit ahead here as he was falling behind in the clear department to Odd Orange. Now putting Odd Orange slightly behind, but that Herald can get a lot of gold injected into really anybody on MU. I'm looking top to bot. I'm kind of happy if any of these laners get the Herald charge. We'll see where Odd Orange actually wants to put that one.
At top would be first brick, as Niles has managed to take 3 plates, and will find more. Gets the stun actually buffered from Fake God, as that will be an ult-for-ult trade. Nice buffer from Fake God.
That was another Dominus pop from Miles. He's just using this on cooldown to try and take these trades. Up a decent amount of CS now. And with no unstoppable force from Fake God, I like your initial assessment. Odd Orange could just drop this Herald up here, break open the lane, get Niles an even bigger lead. The counter argument would be let him keep abusing this lead that he has, because obviously once that turret's gone, it's kind of harder to really pressure your opponent, but let's see what they decide to do here.
Good thing from that Rift Herald play for the side of this guy is that you can see Meech actually close the gap in that CS differential that existed bottom. So I don't think it's a big enough lead, as there's no ult for Fake God. He's going to have to flash. This is tricky for him.
Yeah, flashes, follow up Arctic Assault, even get backs here with the chains. They are layering everything down, and Fake God will fall get back with the second kill of the game.
And this is just great team play coming out of Maryville. I think that they're using the tools they took in draft so nicely, as Niles uses his ult to get Fake God's ult out, and they send 3 top using the priority that they have on the map from the waning of the, what the players have been able to do with the champions they drafted. I think this is how the draft should play out, and I don't even need to use that Rift Herald top, as it's just a first brick for Niles. Really taking it to Fake God in this 1v1, asking a couple friends to help out, and turns that into first brick. Good start for Maryville. They're up 4K gold early.
Remember when I said we got to track, or rather, Disguise need to track when the mid lane item is picked up for a get back. When he has that static shiv, because the LeBlanc can get on the map. Well, guess what? It's picked up, one wave shoved, goes top lane, gets a kill. You got to be prepared for that and ready to follow up the LeBlanc, or at least play away from where she's roaming. And like you said, the Herald wasn't even used, so MU can still look to pressure even more. That's a Gore Drinker completed by Niles. Fake God's job's not going to get easier. I know we just got burgers with him. He was saying that he thinks he's the best top laner not in LCS at the moment, and this is his opportunity to prove that. He's been having a great summer split so far, but Niles getting the better of him in this game.
Yeah, I will say, I feel like there's nothing really that Fake God could have done with how he played this out so far. I mean, I praise Maryville for putting the focus onto him, but this Malphite wasn't taken for the laning phase. It was taken for what it can do outside the laning phase. And yes, it's a big lead for Maryville, but this Rock Monster still be very scary. It's a lower damage composition for Maryville as this game goes on, so I think it's important that they continue to utilize the advantages they have now to build up a gold lead, because they're going to need it going into the comp for Disguised.
Scary Jerry's walking away from the Herald, so will not get the gold. I thought they were going to try and funnel a few plates into the Aphelios. Not to be. Instead, they just group up for the Dragon. Niles walks down rather than playing for the top and having the teleport. So now he's going to walk all the way back up. Doesn't use the teleport at all to secure this objective. MU, again, with pretty clean team play. Happy to see. You mentioned it at the top of the day, or rather at least the beginning of this series. They've actually had time to scrim. They've been scrimming against challengers teams as opposed to all the collegiate teams they've been preparing against for the CLO championships. Yeah. And it really feels like MU has leveled up. I know that they didn't win that CLO championship like they were hoping. UST did take that. But if this was the MU that went into it, I mean, this is a very clean team so far.
And this is a team that has players that have some experience playing at a higher level. Looking at Niles, even Auto Orange in the past, Get Back, Pro and OPL. And I think that practice matters, right? And if you are able to practice against a higher level of competition, if you're making use of practice, you should be able to start to rise up to that level of competition if you're always getting beaten. And it sure looks like Maryville has been making good use of that early in the season, as I have been pretty impressed with how they've been able to execute so far. But so far, this has been playing through what I would expect for them to get in draft, quite frankly, Kangas. So I want to see what Maryville can do now to make sure that this game goes in their favor completely, as they still have to take some steps in that direction and pray that Aphelios is enough damage to get through everything that Disguise will be throwing at them. Because when you look at Vi, Rakan, Malphite, your marksman's not going to like playing against that. That's pretty hard.
And not to, you know, put too fine a point on it, but Scary Jerry, there's been a few instances of playing very aggressive, positioning forward. So Scary Jerry's going to have to do his due diligence this time around, because MU have been playing to the opposite side of the rift so far, but I'm happy you highlight that, because as the game goes on, the bot laners will start coming into the equation and actually be participating in these fights. I'm looking at mid, though. Niles is posturing for a dive. Auto Orange is here. Dominus popped early. Young's in trouble. Or is he? Nope, now they got Zyko.
Oh, he's in big trouble.
Walk up.
He's in big trouble.
Just go between the turrets. Flashes in. Chaining the stun onto Young, and he's down. Flash engage for Fake God, trying to lock Niles down. Under turret, he's still tanking. And that is a kill picked up for Fake God. Will equalize the play.
All right, well done here from the side of Fake God. I think that flash ult very much worth getting a bit of a shutdown onto the side of Niles Renekton, but that is enough for Maryville to continue to stack up these neutral objectives, Kangas. As Young did fall, will be the Herald started for the side of Maryville. Worth noting that objective bounties are on for Disguise, but take another look. Fake God was tailing Niles. They sniffed this one out, and Fake God, well, not bad. Able to make sure that he gets the shutdown.
And the gold from Maryville actually went to Zyko. The support picked up the kill with Ignite onto Young, so
unlucky.
It's not a continued kill streak for Get Back. It's not more gold into Niles' pocket from the kill itself. And now Meech has actually put some work into this bottom turret. The first turret fell very early. And, okay, no, the Herald wasn't dropped to mid. The second Herald, rather, was not dropped mid. It is still in the inventory of Auto Orange. And now they're hovering towards the spot side where Disguise have a lot of vision put down. But with Niles here, they cannot continue the push.
Yeah, it looks to be that AP variety that we've seen out of the Kai'Sa, where you go Shiv, Nashers, and then find your Mythic later. So I think it's a pretty good build. I mean, Kai'Sa has always kind of been that champ that has flexibility with the builds and her numbers. So Meech, once you finish up that Nashers, that's when you start to really pump out some damage. And once you get a damage item on top of that, you can get every evolve with the Qs. So we'll see if Meech ends up going for that a little bit later. But at the moment, still going to be Disguised on the back foot. Kangas is at the moment. Maryville Gonna try and blow over that bot tower, but also all resources being put mid here as they try and take this outer as well.
Yeah, if they can crack this before the Dragon, that's huge. I love Maryville's decision so far as a team, moving around the map with Scary Jerry mid. Everyone else hides in Fog of War in case we see DSG jump onto Scary Jerry, then you could just pounce it right on back. But now cracking this mid turret means that Maryville have a much easier job controlling the next wave push as Dragon's up in 40 seconds. And Niles will even get the bot turret. Yep. So Disguise are going to have a really tough time of knowing, do we fight for this Dragon or do we just give it and fight for the fourth?
I really don't think they can. Just look at Ryze's inventory. No tier is stacked. That Rod's only halfway. I think the next fight's going to get so much better for them. As at the moment, this guy's going to burn that fruit. Try and keep their health bars up. And Maryville will have complete control. For me, all eyes are going to be on Scary Jerry. I think he has to rotate out some better guns. But I think Maryville also has the strength to make sure that they can just bully Disguise out of here. And Disguise, realizing that their comp needs more time to get online, will drop this.
I mean, I'm looking at 2 items on Get Back. I'm looking at 2 items on Niles, who got the turret backed and then teleported in for the play with a Sterix completed. There's no shot that Disguise can win this fight. They're just not ready in the item department. And I mean, the 3rd Dragon for Maryville. 5 more minutes after this, and they can go for the Dragon Soul. It is an Ocean Soul. It will be very, very hard for Disguise to really pick up any members from that point forward. And again, just clean play for Maryville. They are controlling this game in a masterclass effort. These guys have really yet to find any way back in. Their only play that they've had was a counterplay. It was answering Niles going for the dive mid lane, as Fake God was able to pick up 1 kill for his trouble. But that wasn't even the proactive play. It was responding to what Maryville were doing themselves.
Just time for the side of this guys. Like, once you have the Rod completed and the Seraph's Embrace evolved, Nashor's on Kaisa, it is a big gold lead for the side of Maryville, but it's not like it's unplayable here for the side of Disguise, especially if they can maybe even sneak in a Black Cleaver on Vi. Just a 5k gold lead when they get those items, things should be okay.
I'm looking right now at the items. Speaking of, Scary Jerry also has the stopwatch completed, so knowing his job, survive. Don't let them all jump on top of me as, again, Maryville rotate up here. And so at this point of the game where I want to go back to that initial question that we had in Pick and Ban, was the Ryze actually the pick right here? As so far, it's been struggling, but the engage underneath the turret, it's only onto Odd Orange so far. Scary Jerry still has everything up. He's doing a lot of damage. Fake God and the rest of DSG just got heavily chunked out from 1 Moonlight Vigil. Zyko looks for the hook, flash out from Meech. Disguised make it out, but they do not save that turret, and they do not find their own play.
Yeah, Tomio never pressed R. They just didn't have enough to go on a Scary Jerry, or at least not enough to gather. As the game plan, again, it's going to be everyone pressing R on the Scary Jerry to take him down, and the rest of the damage from Maryville, hoping that that is not significant enough to shred through them. As the inner falls and Maryville continue to push this gold lead, things are getting more and more dangerous here for the side of Disguised, as they're being very delayed in picking up some of those much-needed second items they need for their comp to work.
Young has the Rod of Ages, but has yet to pick up the Seraphs. I wonder how close he is right now. Can we actually, if the observers could switch over to the gold in everyone's pocket, I'm wondering how many more waves he needs to pick up. Oh, he's not even
quite a bit.
That close, yeah.
Quite a bit.
Oofta. That's 2,000 gold lead coming in for Get Back here. As thank you for also showing it on the side of the screen so we can see it all together. That is 3 members of the collegiate representative in the top of the gold graph.
No, Odd Orange.
Wow, never mind. Odd Orange just hops up there.
Odd Orange spoke about a lot of pride being the one college that plays in this league, and it proves, they're a university that can compete with the best of them. As these players trying to continue to step up and playing against Disguise as cleanly as they are. And what an opportunity for these collegiate guys, as a lot more eyes are on the Disguise team, given some of the backing that they have, and for Maryville to put on this kind of showing is really great to see.
It's one of those things. I remember back in like 2018, 2019, we had conversations. I remember we would have podcasts. This was a debate. What was the better path to pro? Was it amateur or was it collegiate? And in the subsequent years, it felt like amateur just became the de facto answer. There's all these reasons of, if you're in collegiate, you don't have the time to really commit to grinding. You have school, you have other responsibilities. It's not the same competition that you're going against, because usually your collegiate conferences are a little easier. But Maryville bucking that trend and are putting Collegiate back in that conversation, saying, no, you can have a system. You can have a school that develops players, that gets players up to that level. I know Odd Orange was coming in to Maryville after his time competing at the academy level, but Niles went the other way, right? He went from Collegiate into LCS, so we've seen the pathway that Maryville's been able to send players on. Very impressive stuff, and they're doing it again maybe here in this summer split. They have had a very good start, much better at 5-7 going into the last week of the first round robin than a lot of us expected. And if they pick up wins here against this guys, that is just continuing the trend.
All right, second items are in for the side of Disguised, as we are 50 seconds away from this Dragon Kangas, where Ocean Soul, I don't think it's the Doomsday scenario, given how quickly Disguise's comp can kill someone later. Ocean Soul is not the strongest soul that we have on the Rift or in the world, so is playable for the side of Disguise, but still... Oh, Tomio, that is bold.
Yeah, he jumps in and immediately punished. Teleports are not coming through. Finds engage on a get back, but Scary Jerry's untouched. He can walk up, has the ghost, has flash, has everything. Scary Jerry unleashed in this fight. Disguise did not find their angle into the enemy, and get back with a double kill means they don't even need that soul. MU are going right to the Baron.
That was not the game plan for Disguise. The game plan is to kill that Aphelios. Guess what? Aphelios, really tough to die, as you don't use R on him, while Scary Jerry able to punish. And Maryville continue to impress as Tomio, oof, he walks into 3.
That is Doomsday scenario when you Vault Breaker over a wall and see a Nautilus Sejuani. You're like, wait, that's not the carry.
I mean, all of these guys are pretty much forced to go in then because the Vi's caught.
Yeah.
No one finds Scary Jerry. Scary Jerry sees every ultimate burned on other members and it's like, all right, this is this game went from being hell, looking at Vi, Rakan, Malphite, to being a dream, as all those ults were burned, not on me. And guess what? We have the gold lead. I just get to step forward, be ahead, as Maryville looking to put together one of the cleaner games that we've seen from them against a team that we have high expectations for in Disguise, Kangas.
Turo Baron buff secured. Now can they get the Dragon Soul? MU are into the pit, pushing Tomio out of there. Fake God does not have the ultimate. It's about to come off cooldown, but he might die before it's even up. He does! MU just sweep 2 fights back to back. Turo Baron buff into Soul, and that could just be the ending push. How bad do they want to push for this wave? There's none that are on the turrets yet, but MU are rocketing ahead.
I mean, what a game coming out from Maryville, Kangas. Start to finish, complete control. They drafted for it. They executed upon it. Disguise never had an opportunity to get into this game. Maryville just straight up didn't let them.
There were so few windows for Disguise to do anything. Maryville played this one out textbook. With the Baron buff, they will take these turrets and the 2 inhibitors. But Disguise members are now respawning. They should make it out in time here to stop Maryville from going for the game-ending push, unless Maryville find their own engager onto Tomio. Can they take down the Vi? They got him. Meech hit by the depth charge. Everyone's jumping onto the carry now. Flashes away, but not to safety, as MU take back-to-back sweeping fights. Another ace for MU, and game 1 in the books. The collegiate representatives have shown up.
Wow, that's really all you can say about that game, Kangas. Just an absolute blasting from Maryville against Disguised, as they drafted for it. The priority, it's Renekton LeBlanc, you have a Sejuani. All about getting shoved in lanes, making sure you're ahead. Maryville, once they got those leads, they never looked back. And Disguised, I think they had answers, but Malphite, you are able to actually execute in the Aphelios, but they got too far ahead. And really, Disguise never was able to take the terrain back on the map to actually execute the team fight they needed to execute. None of those ults went onto the Aphelios, and when he doesn't die, he was melting everyone else on the Rift.
Had a smooth ride from Aphelios' Scary Jerry in that game number 1. And speaking of, very happy to announce the LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace where you can book your car that you want for just about any occasion. Forget about boring rental cars at Turo.com. Thank you to Turo for helping out support the players. And thank you for Maryville for giving us a amazing game 1. We're going to send over to a short break here before we bring back the air for the Rally Car halftime show after this.
So, MILF Manor. We actually have yet to watch any of it, but It's I don't know how we started watching it, but it was very interesting. Like, oh, we need this to win. We haven't lost a scrim after watching no better. I don't think that was true, but you know,
it was the mindset. It's the mindset.
Yeah, it's the mindset.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Sorry, guys.
Thank you. Feel that there's a stigma against you since you've been around longer?
There's always a stigma for players that like are around for a long time.
How do you think you can kind of escape that? Because I think our best recent example of somebody who's kind of been in a similar spot was Doka.
You escape it by just performing.
Yeah.
Then people don't care.
Now, what about during this off season, right? Because there's a really, again, tumultuous off season.
Yeah.
And you chose to play for Disguised, and I have to imagine you got some challengers teams offers.
I did.
Yeah. So why did you choose to play with this team?
I thought it would be more fun. I also knew that I think there'd be a lot more attention, I guess is a word, on that team in specific comparison to every other team there. Honestly, I think what I was thinking at a certain point was it's either Disguised first or I go to Korea solo queue and see what happens then.
You're convinced you're the best person not playing LCS.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. How can we show that to scouts?
Well, for me, I would just keep playing and try to keep playing well. Yeah, that's about it.
What if we made a music video with you though? They have to see that, you know. It's gonna be all over Twitter.
This isn't
We'll
part
get
of
you
the.
rapping.
This isn't part of the thing, right? I guess you know, right?
You can say
I've
no
only
to
eaten
that.
half the food, so I can just half of it.
As long as you haven't finished, you are under contract.
Alright.
You're going to karaoke. Okay.
Yeah.
What song are you singing for the audience?
Let it go.
Let it go?
Yeah.
You get some high notes out of that one. That's what we like to hear.
Can you do it for us right now? Give us a demonstration.
There you go.
Oh man, I actually memorized all the lyrics before.
Oh, you did? All right, what's the opening lyric?
I forgot.
Fake out, since we have a Riot producer here, what is your favorite piece of Riot produced content? Don't say keeping up with double, if anything but that.
Oh, actually, I like the origin of the name thing because I was gonna think if I became pro, I was gonna be on the origin of the name thing, but it didn't happen yet. So, but
Manny, make it happen. Can we do this?
I mean, maybe. I don't see why we couldn't.
but
We'll get you on there,
it's
Fake.
pretty simple. I wanted to make
You
the
get back
name.
and you change your name to Real God.
No. I wanted to make my name Faker God, but
Faker
it
God?
was taken.
Oh.
So I took out the R
That works.
and I combined them.
There you
That
go.
I
works.
thought it looked cool. I was
Yeah.
13 years old.
Hey, Fake out, how long till this is true?
Dude, pose with
Riot employee? I don't know, 10 years.
you gotta pose
Does
with
LCS player count as Riot employee?
No, that's an LCS player.
Okay, all right. So we don't want this. We don't. Maybe after a long career in the LCS.
Yeah, after a long career, and then you go back to Riot to work.
Yeah,
there.
after you win the split, go to Worlds. 3-3 in groups, right?
Yeah.
How does it feel seeing the LCS develop into what it is now from the time that you competed in it? Because you were part of a generation, a couple years back. It's changed a lot, right?
I don't know. I feel weirdly disconnected, I guess, because I felt like I wasn't there for too long, but it kind of was. It was 1.5 years. I still don't feel like I stayed there and made myself present while I was playing. It's a weird feeling.
How do you see yourself contributing to the scene?
I think just playing and streaming a lot and having a lot of people see, and playing well, obviously.
I got something we should do.
Yeah, where can people find your Fake God if they want to help support the #1 top laner, not an LCS?
Yeah, you can find me at twitter.com/fakegod and twitch.tv/fakegod.
Yeah. How was your episode of Between Two Buns?
It was okay.
Just
We gotta
okay,
do
I
better.
guess. We'll get between more buns later.